now. All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this special edition masterclass provided to you by Women for Cyber on the occasion of the International Women for Cyber Week 2021 in cooperation with the European Commission's DG Connect. As you know, of course, instead of celebrating only the 8th of March this year, we, Women for Cyber and DG Connect, have decided to celebrate the entire week, offering to our community many events and special announcements. Before proceeding with our distinguished guest, a small introduction from my side. So my name is Nina Hasratian, and I'm here today with my colleagues Nina Olesen and Saskia Brugman, and together with our Secretary-General Luigi Rebuffi, we are the operational team behind the Women for Cyber Foundation. Women for Cyber is an initiative launched by the European Cybersecurity Organization to help fill the gap of cybersecurity professionals in Europe by boosting the participation of girls and women in cybersecurity professions. Our activities range from targeting girls in universities and junior professionals starting their careers, so encouraging their skilling and upskilling, to targeting senior professionals as well in helping them through the reskilling process for a career reorientation. As our objective and mission are comprehensive, so are the actions and activities covering community building, awareness, encouraging organizations and companies to implement trainings and courses, and also reaching out to the national and European political level. Our all-inclusive approach is reflected in our constant work with both women and men from all sectors, public, private, and academic. And ever since our founding days, the European Commission has been a constant and very supportive partner to our initiative. Our collaboration, among other things, led to the creation and launch of the Women for Cyber Registry of Experts, which is our pride and joy, really, to help better showcase the pool of European female talents that we have in Europe. Now, speaking of female talent, this leads me to introduce you to Lorena Boix Alonso, who is currently Director for Digital Society, Trust and Cybersecurity at the European Commission's DG Connect. Lorena has a vast career both outside and inside the European Commission and is the living proof that one can work in cybersecurity and succeed in it without cybersecurity being their primary career choice. Lorena is also a great supporter of gender inclusion in cybersecurity, and even before Women for Cyber, she has participated in other initiatives promoting gender balance and gender inclusion. Now, finally, before proceeding forward, I'd like to highlight a few small rules to ensure that this goes as smoothly as possible. Please, first of all, make sure that you are muted to avoid any background noises. Once Lorena is done with her initial comments, we will open a Q&A session for an interactive exchange with participants. If you have questions, please raise your hand through the available button and wait until Saskia, Nina, or I invite you to speak. Then you can unmute yourself. Also, don't hesitate to use the chat as well, though we do encourage for a live exchange. And now, before giving the floor to Lorena, our Secretary General, Luigi, would like to say a few words. Luigi?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Lorena, for being with us today. Just a few words. You are going to speak about cybersecurity. I'm sure you're going to tell us what you have done to reach this point. And we know that you are there as a director since a few months. But what is very important, I think, is that before that, you were director for the strategy in DG Connect. And this gives you a position which is really very few people have, because you can see now cybersecurity in the complex context of the ICT world, and which is very, very important, because cybersecurity is not shouldn't be seen as an add-on to something. And the participation of women, very important, because we need as many experts as possible in this domain. So your global view and a global understanding of the situation, of the contribution of cybersecurity to the development of the digital transition, I think is very important for Women for Cyber, but also for EXO that is supporting all these initiatives. Thank you, Lorena, for being with us. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Luigi. Thank you, Nina. Thank you also for inviting me. I feel a little bit overwhelmed, in particular because First, the title is How to Succeed in Cybersecurity. And as Luigi said, I was appointed director dealing with cybersecurity in the Commission only on the 1st of December. So I will take as a success the fact that I was appointed already, and I hope I will become really a very successful director. And second, I was overwhelmed by the title. I mean, the format is called Masterclass. I was a little bit impressed. Oh my God, this is a masterclass. In particular, because normally, as some of you know me, I'm quite informal in my talks. So don't expect here something very sophisticated. I'm here to share my views with you. And honestly, I didn't prepare much sophisticated slides, but I will only show you some pictures a little bit later on. But let's. I will try, by the way, every time I can to give examples, real life examples in my life or close to my personal experience. But I think that the first thing to start with is with the facts. And those that are in the field of cybersecurity probably know these figures by heart, and is the fact that today we have a huge gap in the field. Right now, the skill shortage is huge. It is considered that globally, by next year, the gap is of 1.8 million people. So there is a need of cybersecurity experts or person working in the cybersecurity field of 1.8 million by next year. If we look at Europe alone, is more than 350,000 people. And this is in the middle of a situation where there is huge unemployment. So apparently there is a problem that goes beyond women in the field. People are not attracted by this, despite the fact that there is a need, and that I can assure you this need is real. Since I've started this new position, I've had the chance to talk first hand with companies and with public institutions dealing with cybersecurity, and they tell me the situation is really dramatic. Also because the cybersecurity incidents are unfortunately increasing exponentially. COVID has only exacerbated the situation, and it is really a drama for them to find people that can help. Then if you look at of those that are there, how many are women at the global level is only 11%. And if you look at Europe, it's even lower, it's 7%. This means we have a problem that people in general are not interested, for whatever reason, to work in the field, despite the fact that this can be very well paid and there's a need and there's huge unemployment, and that women, and even less among the people not interested, women either. So this brings me to think, I mean, why is that? This is a field that we will talk later on, that for me, it's super interesting. But I did something, and this is the only slides I'm going to present to you. Nina, you can show. I did a search in Google. Sorry for the publicity. I use plenty of other browsers, but okay, these screenshots are from Google. Looking for the word cybersecurity. Okay, so if you can share it. So again, not sophisticated slide. So you see, this is what you see. Huh? This is cybersecurity. I don't know if you will notice, but it's all dark, huh? All dark, all techie. If you pass to the next, I mean, they are not even people. Here you find some people dark and male. So that's the image. If you do a search, and I must say, we in the Commission, some of these pictures come from us, from the Commission. So you can tell me, well, this is normal because cybersecurity is something serious, it's something dangerous. I mean, you have an attack and this is very serious. So, so I said, okay, let's look to something similar. And I hope doctors will forgive me for comparing medicine with cybersecurity, but honestly, I don't see it so different. They are dealing with situations that are very dangerous. What do, doctors? They try to prevent virus, for example. Let's mention the word which is nowadays, unfortunately, very in fashion. Doctors try to prevent virus to happen, and if they happen, or sickness, and if they happen, they fix them. They try to cure. Why? To save lives, or to have people, for people well-being. So I don't see, honestly, that much difference. So what do you get if you do a search and you have medicine instead of cybersecurity, the medicine profession? Nina, maybe you show us. Voila, I mean, the colors change. It's suddenly you have, even with the medical devices, they do little hearts, so cute. Some people are there smiling. There are even women. I mean, you can maybe show the next slide. You see, so, and these are the only slides I'm going to show. You see colors that are not all dark. You see people, you see human faces, they are smiling. You see the devices as something that is curing people. So you see, it's why are we not focusing? And we don't need to have that as background anymore, Nina, if you allow me. Otherwise, people will focus on on the doctors and the pictures, which is a good thing. But still, today focus is cybersecurity. So why are we focusing on the dark side of it? Why, when there is a person dealing with cybersecurity, and I did plenty of searches, I did also cybersecurity persons, and you have then always the dark guy with the capuchon, you know, you don't even see the face. Well, if you look for a medicine person, you have a nice and smiley doctor. So there is a problem on how we are showing cybersecurity and how we are perceiving cybersecurity. So let's, the way it is perceived is something techy, something very male-oriented, and something dark. So let me try to demystify all these things about cybersecurity. So first of all, and also, of course, put it in the context of why women are not so attracted. First of all, is cybersecurity something techy? In part, let's say that you are going to need, in the cybersecurity field, you are going to need some technicians, some ICT people that know about it. And indeed, here we have, of course, already a problem because only around 15% of EU women are in ICT-related jobs, or are, you have only 1 in 6 ICT specialists is a woman. 1 in 3 STEM graduates is a woman, and in addition, the poor they learn almost 20% less than men. So you may wonder why we are not attracted. So we have already an issue there. But then let me go a little bit beyond. Of course, we will need technical people, but do we only need technical people, and to what extent? And here again, if you look at the CIO magazine and you look at what are the top skills that are needed in a cyber team, you will realize that that's not the only one. You have plenty of other skills that are needed. You have project management, communication, data analytics, law enforcement, of course, soft skills like critical thinking, problem solving, the ability to build communities. I mean, there are plenty of skills, whether hard skill or soft skills, that don't require to be an ICT engineer. And this is extremely important. If you look at going beyond cyber, at the top technological companies, and you look now more also into the management positions, it's interesting to see there are plenty of different rankings, but some people have taken the time to look at what's the profile of those managers. Well, in one of the rankings, 50% were economists, 30% engineers, and the rest a variety of other. In another of the rankings that is going by how much money these companies are making, to say it simply, 40% of this management were economists, 30% again were engineers, 30% were lawyers. I'm a lawyer, by the way, I say it up front. So this to say that, of course, these pictures that we have shown describing cybersecurity, it was all about technology. I mean, this is not true. Of course, it is necessary, but it's not true. It's like when you drive a car, you need your car to have been built by, in part, because a car has plenty of pieces. Some of them will be built by engineers, others not. And you will need to make sure that if your car is broken, you go to a technician, but you don't need to be a technician yourself. That to say that there is a need. I mean, cyber is, and Despina's panel, who is my predecessor, was saying it the other day in a panel I had the honor to moderate. It's probably one of the most interdisciplinary fields that you can find. You really need everything. And I will tell you something more. Cyber attacks are becoming more and more complex. And this will require more and more diverse skills. So if you are thinking about, oh my God, I will never apply to a cybersecurity job, or I don't want to become a cybersecurity expert because I'm not an ICT engineer, please forget about it. We need you as well. we need plenty of, and I think that companies are becoming more and more aware of this. Here, okay, some people agree or disagree that women have different soft skills. I don't take a position, but it is true that often it is associated that many of the soft skills that are required in cybersecurity, women are quite often have them. For example, I was saying before, problem solving, and that's something that obviously you need in cybersecurity, because you don't have the time to be 5 months thinking about how could we do it. I mean, you get an attack, you need to fix it. So that's one of the skills. Also, the fact that if you want to deal, for example, with a supply chain cybersecurity attack, which is more and more the case these days, where you need to be careful not only about your company being cyber secure, but also all the companies with which you are dealing with. That's what we call the supply chain cybersecurity. It is said that those women that work in cybersecurity are much more careful about checking well with whom they are dealing with. So you see, if you dig into this, there are plenty of studies about the soft skills also needed and how they match quite well with women's soft skills. Something else that I was saying before is how we are stereotypizing, if that word exists, what is cybersecurity. And here, I mean, if I had had the time, I would have done a slide about how they see cybersecurity. How do I see it? And it would have been really a very different picture. We've seen already how it is seen, you know, something techy, dark. How do I see it, and how did I apply for the job that I managed to get? For me, and this is why I compare it to a doctor, it's a field that helps avoiding big problems to society. A doctor is curing, is preventing. For me, an expert in cybersecurity is doing the same. And I think that the COVID crisis, where we have seen a huge increase of cyber attacks, including hospitals and medicine labs, it's a good proof that if we didn't have the people and the experts in cybersecurity dealing with them, you imagine the societal drama. So for me, cybersecurity and working in cybersecurity is a work to help society. So I don't see it as the techie guy playing like in the films. I say that someone's saving the economy, saving lives, and saving big problems in society. And I think this is something which is quite, I think at least as far as I'm concerned, for women, it's important. And here I'm going to give you another an example, a real life example. And I always tell my daughter that I mention her a lot in my speeches. Why? Because my daughter is one of those exceptions of a woman in ICT. She is studying right now engineering in micro nanotechnologies. And I am a lawyer. Her father is a lawyer, so I often ask her, but Aitana, why did you decide to study this? Certainly, I'm not your role model for that. And she answers to me two things. The first is, I didn't, in fact, decided to study this. I wanted to achieve an objective, and then I asked, and it's true, and then I looked for, what do I need to study to achieve that objective? Her objective was, she was watching one day a BBC documentary about, you know, devices to help people, you know, that lost an arm or cannot walk, and this one, of course, very, I mean, you need really a lot of engineering there. And then she said, my goodness, I want that. Some of them, of course, go even into the brain, and you can do plenty of things and fix even neurological problems. So she said, I want that, but I don't know what I need to study. And then, of course, I couldn't help her because I didn't know myself. Okay, in my DG, in DG Connect, I got some help, but she then looked, what do I need to study? And this is how she chose her career. So I think that we need to lose a little bit the obsession of, do I want to study engineering? No, what do I want to fix? And in her case, she wanted to help society and say, okay, this is what I have to study. So I think that this looking at the ultimate objective of what you want to do is something very important for women. And if I want to avoid the things that are happening today in terms of cyber attacks, then I realize that I need to work in the field of cybersecurity. How do I see it? So I see that something where you are helping society. I see that something, and Luigi, thank you for reminding it, indeed, which is extremely geopolitical. Despina said it the other day, where geopolitics are crucial. That for me, maybe for the people is boring, but I find it absolutely interesting. What is behind all the geopolitics behind cyber attacks is extremely interesting. I see it as something very strategic. You need to see what's the strategy behind a cyber attack. I see it also something as where building trust among communities is essential. And this is, I'm having meetings, of course, with all the people in the cyber world. And for those that are in this world, they know that trust is essential, and that there are plenty of different communities in the cyber world. You have the civil people, you have the operational people, the more political angle, you have the diplomacy tools, the global angle, you have the law enforcement angle. I mean, there are plenty of angles, and these people to work together need to trust each other. So this building trust among communities is something for which you need particular skills. I find it very interesting. I thought I could help with those skills. And then political sensitivity. And when you do cybersecurity at the EU level, that's very important. So that's how I saw the cybersecurity field. You see how different to what we were saying before. So this is basically why I decided to apply to the post I am now, that I got. But I don't know, Nina, if I should stop or if you want me to tell you my experience of when I decided to apply and how and what did I do. I don't know, because I feel I'm talking a lot.
No,
Okay.
I'm just like hanging to your words, so please go ahead.
Okay.
But in the meantime, if our audience members have already some questions, please make sure to prepare them, and once we ask you to come forward to ask them directly to Lorena.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell things very personal, so don't tell anybody. Listen, it's a joke. Of course, I know that we are a few people here live. First of all, you know, when I in the European Commission, when you apply for a senior management post, like it's a director post, it's a long process. It takes a few months to pass all the different phases. I was working as an acting director, as Luigi mentioned, for already 2.5 years in a directorate which is more horizontal. I've been doing digital, I think, in all my professional life. Even when I was doing antitrust, it was mainly in the digital world. And it was a horizontal directorate where I was dealing with international, with strategy, with planning of digital policies. And at one point, then the post I was, where I was in an acting position, was published, but at the same time, the post on cybersecurity was published. And already for a long time, when I was seeing Despina, I was saying, oh, I see this is interesting. But I didn't know what to do. I said, well, should I apply? Should I not apply? And I was really hesitating. And my only hesitation was, can I make it? Because I was passionate. I wanted. I mean, how I describe it is what I wanted to do. But then I said, well, I've never done it before. Well, I was for a period of time deputy head of cabinet of Commissioner Nelly Cruz. So at that time, from a very political level, I had dealt with cybersecurity, but of course it's very different to deal with it. And at the time where we didn't even have a piece of legislation on it at EU level, and to deal with it as a director where you have your hands on. So I was saying, I mean, can I make it? And then I started to ask around, what do you think? I can assure you, the big majority of people around me were telling me, don't do it. And I was saying, why? First was, I don't see you at all. I mean, I know you. I don't see you at all in cybersecurity. And I was saying, why? And the reply was, but this is super techy, super dark, super male, exactly what we see. That's what they were telling me. And I was like, well, that's not how I see it. And I didn't see it that way because I was seeing my predecessor doing the job, and because I was seeing it from the commission, and because, as Luigi said, I had the chance to see it from the strategic, political, geopolitical angle. So for me, this was passionate. So I said, well, so I had to convince the others, no, I don't think it's like that. And I was, but are you sure? Really? So one was, we don't see you there. And they were saying, no, Lorena, you are super open. You really like, you know, to build communities. You like to interact with plenty of people. You are very political. You are very strategic. And everything they were telling me, I was thinking, that's precisely because the reasons I want to apply for this job. So in the end, I decided to apply for everything and say, okay, let's see what happens. And I'm disclosing things that are very personal because normally I had not told anybody that I applied for everything. Then I had said, okay, I need to prepare for this because I know only these angles that are very high level. And here came my worry. Oh my God, did I do well? Should I really apply, not apply? And I started looking for trainings. It was in the middle of the pandemic, so I started to look online for online courses. And this is something that I will need to say again and again. There is a real lack of good available training and courses. I didn't have the time to enroll for a master degree. So I look for you know, online academies and things like that, and I found quite a few. And here I started to struggle because you have plenty of things, and some of them are extremely technical. I had to do the choice. Some of them were really for ICT experts. I immediately realized, okay, that's not for me. I'm not going to pretend I'm an engineer because I am not. So then I looked, and there were others that were telling you what is all behind cybersecurity, and you need to know it. Here I agree with Despina. The other day in this panel said the same. Of course, you need to learn your cybersecurity lessons. And I found quite a few interesting online training courses. Mostly of them, they were mostly American, I have to say it. Very, very good. What I can tell you, if you follow them, look for those that have nice examples. So what I found interesting was, and here the example of a denial of service attack or a Trojan horse attack. So all these concepts, when you have an example, so look what happened in Estonia, look at the WannaCry, and then if you really have it with the real life of what happened, it's super interesting how these type of incidents can block a whole country. I mean, who does not find this interesting? I mean, that from your home, you can block a whole country. So I found very interesting trainings. I did something that was also very interesting, going back to the big picture, which is, okay, now I know the basics. I know when someone tells me about that denial of service attack, I know what they are talking about and what's behind. I know what's the community, but I want to see the big picture. And here what I did is that I enrolled to plenty of conferences. You have big debates, and that's the beauty of the online. Many of them that are recorded, and then you can have access to them when you want, with people from all across the globe debating about the geopolitics of cybersecurity. And that, of course, is very interesting because it's put in picture. You have very nice documentaries in online platforms and even films that I watch. And honestly, the more I was doing this, the more I couldn't wait for the exam to come, you know. And honestly, it went very well. I can assure you. So so this to tell you, I mean, listen to yourself. Don't listen to the others, because in particular, given the misperception that we have today of what cybersecurity is, given the misperception about what is the place of women in cybersecurity, you need to listen to yourself. It is true that having a role model is important. And before, it's true that I said, when I asked my daughter, why did you study ICT? And I said there were two reasons, and I only gave one, sorry. The one was that she wanted to help society. The second one, she had a role model, which was not me, it was her aunt. Her aunt is an engineering, she's a researcher. So she told me first, and I'm going to say the same. if you have a role model, if you have seen someone that you say, well, this is how I want to do cybersecurity, go and follow that. Don't follow the others, follow that. Please think about what to do with it. Don't think about cybersecurity or not cybersecurity. No. How can I help society by working in this field? And you will see that then the picture is very different. The picture looks much more like the doctor picture, with people smiling and saving lives in a nice environment with women as well smiling, rather than this other picture. And with this, I'm going to stop talking, and I'm happy to, I will try to reply to your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lorena, for this very inspirational speech. As I said earlier, I've been hanging to your every single word. It was so interesting. Just for our participants, you mentioned the previous panel with Despina. For everyone's information, this is the Connect University's high-level panel that was organized this Monday by DG Connect in cooperation with Women for Cyber, and the recording of the panel is available online. Maybe Paula, I don't know if you can help me by putting the link in the chat. I'm sure people would be interested. And indeed, it was moderated by Lorena, and we had some high-level participants such as Despina, Annette Madinator, who is the president of Women for Cyber, Selene Gibboni, and others. All right, now I will invite our participants to come forward with their questions. Thank you so much, Paula, for the links. What, Tina? One link, yes, okay. Right.
No,
No, it was more to put my hand up, that if no one is putting their hand up, I have a question.
Oh, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the memo connection here. All right, please go forward, Nina, ask your question, and we already have another question lined up on the chat.
Thanks a lot. Well, first of all, Lorena, thanks a lot for your introductory remarks. Really, really interesting. I think the fact that you touched just on the sheer importance of cybersecurity, the different profiles needed, really, and this strategic and geopolitical element as well is bringing in a different perspective. That's, I think, is important. Just a quick comment first is that what strikes me from the masterclasses we've already had, and just in general hearing women speak at events, what strikes me is that really a majority of women working in cyber do not have an ICT or STEM background. Myself included. I have a background in psychology and political communication and have been working now in cybersecurity for 8 years. And what better way to showcase to the community, to women, girls interested in cyber, to show that it is possible and that there's a breadth of roles out there. So I think that's an important thing, but perhaps it is not sufficient. We're not sufficiently getting the message out there. So I don't know what you think is what more could be done at European level in order to maybe we need a paradigm shift in the messaging from, you know, understanding cybersecurity as just this technical thing and moving it more to this is, you know, make it, you can change the world here. This is for society. Sometimes it's even life or death. Like we've had these increasing attacks on hospitals and healthcare institutions in the past year. So really it's maybe part of a larger, bigger picture messaging that needs to happen. What do you think could be done at European level to increase this visibility?
Thank you very much. In fact, I think that there is a lot that is being done already, mainly in the field of women in ICT. But as you say, maybe what it's not being done enough is about women not only in ICT, but that can work in this world. Because it is true, and now maybe someone in the commission will tell me, no, Lorena, don't say that we need to do more things. But I mean, by having these debates these days, I think we need to do more things, because we have been focusing a lot in women in ICT, which is obviously needed. It's necessary. We need it because if only men deal with ICT, ICT will look only like men and like addressing men needs. So I think we need it. And I think that maybe what we are doing for women in ICT can be then enlarged, because what we are doing in women in ICT is, of course, to fight stereotypes, and that's done even working, that we are working with the audiovisual authorities in Europe, so that when we have publicity and when we have reporters, they don't only ask for male experts, so that to normalize the fact that you can also have women. So we are working on stereotypes. We are working on role modeling as well, and we are working on promoting trainings and code weeks and all that. So I think we will need to do the same, also going beyond ICT and to demystify and break these stereotypes. For example, as I was saying before, some of the images that I've shown in the first slides come from the Commission. That's the way we are showing it as a techie thing. So I think that we ourselves need to start demystifying. Then, going beyond that, what the Commission is doing at a different level is that we are now funding university programs and masterclasses on cybersecurity that don't focus only on the techie thing. How do we do it? We have a new program, which is the Digital Year program, that has as one of its priorities cybersecurity, and another of its priorities is digital skills. Then what we are doing is that we are going to finance. The program is not yet in place. It will be soon. Trainings and courses on cybersecurity that will go beyond purely the techie things. So that's what we need to do. And I think that's something very important as well. Is the recruiting. I mean, something that I appreciated a lot, for example, in the Commission when I was applying to this post, is that in the job description, it was not a requirement that you need to be an ICT expert. So let's say that the person that drafted that job description had seen that you need plenty of other skills, and that if you restrict it to that, you're going to lose plenty of things, and to realize that indeed, I mean, in all these examples I gave before, there was only 30% of engineers in this company. So I think that this is very important, that both at public level and at private level, the recruitment policy, they see it, that they need this diversity of backgrounds and this diversity of gender. So that's something also very important from my point of view. And sorry, I think I clicked a button that I shouldn't have clicked. No, it's okay. Well, I don't know if I see other questions here.
Oh yes, we have now a full lineup of questions, right, Saskia? So in the chat, well, the first one to ask a question, Alexandros, would you like to come forward and ask your question live?
Yes, of course, my pleasure. Thank you very much for the floor. So actually, I'm also a colleague. I'm in Unit H2 in DigiConnect, but I was wondering, because I'm trying also to, hearing the stories of how someone can transition from one level of management to the other and switching between jobs. I was just wondering if the European Commission itself has already foreseen, some kind of support when switching from one level to the other, when it comes to, I don't know, training or, getting acquainted with the subject and helping this transition period for managerial level. Or if there isn't, if you have thought of any way that would be of support according to your experience.
So there are, you have, sorry, this is very much for within the Commission. So those that are not working in the Commission, let me deal with that one. Indeed, you have within the Commission, and I've made use of that, plenty of internal trainings and even coaching when you want to move from one step to the other. If you, of course, you are a man, from what I see. You have also some of those coaching specific for women. So you have a special program within the Commission for women that want to move into management, and there is special coaching. So that exists, and special programs. Then you have also plenty of trainings, if also for male, if you want to move from one stage to the other. You have trainings, and depending on the situations, you can have coaching. So this, I mean, I think that within the Commission, at least, I must say, I cannot complain. We are very well treated. I think that the human resources are really very good. If I can, you know, throw flowers to ourselves. So. And we can take it bilaterally as well if you want, Alessandro, to point to where in particular to go for this type of trainings. More questions. Let me see.
I see that Eva Tatiana has raised her hand. Do you want to ask your question now?
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Hi, Eva. Your connection is.
I have worked in the European Commission in digital research. Sorry.
I think you're having
Eva,
some
your connection is
problems.
not good enough.
Maybe you switch off your camera.
Switch off the video, yeah.
Exactly.
No. A ver.
I think we have lost Tatiana, Eva Tatiana. Maybe we'll get back to her a little bit later once her connection is back. Maybe now we can give the floor to Christina, who also has raised her hand.
And I see that Anne has been kind enough to put the training program on staff interested in career shift to cybersecurity. Thank you very much. So this is there. I was not sure if Alessandro was referring to cyber or to management, but of course for cyber you have the cybersecurity training program indeed. Yeah.
But this is, I believe, this is for the Commission staff, no?
Yes, that's my understanding. Yes.
So my question, thank you very much, first of all, Lorena, for your talk. It was very inspiring. It was very clear. I do not have an engineering background, and cybersecurity is an area that interests me, or have been interesting me a lot for such a long time. But as I have this lack of engineering background, I'm looking for where could I fit in. And your talk was very clear on that sense. You've mentioned at some point that you've looked for trainings and you've done some of them in what I suppose that were worldwide trustful institutions. And I have already been looking for them, and all I can find it's like the kind of conspiracies, theories, and all that on cybersecurity. And well, it's not exactly what I'm looking for, so I would kindly ask you to advise some trustful institutions where you strongly advise us to learn more about the area. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if I can make publicity here. I mean, one of, and I don't remember by heart, I did 2 or 3. One of them was Udemy. It's an online academy. It's called Udemy, and I don't know how I can write it in the chat. Let's see if my memory is correct. That's the one I remember. And there were plenty of them. That's one of them I did. The others I would need to Oh, for whatever reason, the chat doesn't want to. I don't remember the others. I can look for it and maybe you give your email and I tell you. This is the one I remember by heart because there were a Coursera also, it's true. Someone is writing that. That's another one, indeed. Coursera is a learning platform. Udemy is another one that I use. So Future Learn, I didn't use that one. So, you know, the good thing of those is that they are very short. So that if you are like me, I was already working. So you are, and that's the beauty of these online courses, that you don't need to think it's too late. You can do it while you're already in another position. These courses were very good because they were, each lesson was 10 minutes. And then you had plenty of questions, you know, you had like a test. There were plenty of lessons, of course, but and you could do like 10 lessons in a row if you wanted. But if not, you could take advantage of 10 minutes of your time and boom, you got it. So I found it very interesting. Also, the fact that you could download them so that if I was on the plane, I was listening to them. So I found that really very, very good. You have some very good things already out there. You need to also make sure in the field of cybersecurity, and I had that, that they are constantly updated because this field moves so quickly. That is good. Sometimes you have the same training of different years. You should like update now, and so you need to pay attention to that, and just to have a recent one. Then okay, I'm getting now plenty of. You see, this is wonderful. Maybe we should. Yeah, someone is telling me that Isaka and Sons is also a very good one. So I'm going to put it in the chat. You know, maybe we could somehow publish this. I don't know if we are allowed because this is publicity, but well, I'm sure EXO is allowed to do this. So I will write these ones because
we can provide some suggestions, a list of online platforms, and yeah.
Yeah, voila. So I'm putting more. You see there are plenty. So voila.
Perfect.
So
Thank you very much.
That, maybe this is a good idea. Luigi, I don't know what you think. We could put a kind of link of links with existing online trainings so that
Yeah, Lorena, if I can intervene, thank you. Well, I had some comments, but let me, as you called me, as you mentioned my name, I step in. You know that we have a working group 5, that's Nina Olesen. She's there. She's following of this, all the different initiatives for training and for education and so on. And we definitely, at least we, from our side, maybe we have more freedom to publish, let me say, whatever. We could collect this. We have already, Nina, I'm sure, has already a long list at different level. We have also an initiative that just put on the chat that we have developed. We call it Youth for Cyber. We're stemming actually from Women for Cyber, because we realize that boys and girls need to be, let's say, there should be an awareness from the very young age. So we started from the age of 6 up to 26, and there are different modules where we can just to trigger interest, but also the warning, because they could be, it's dangerous, you know. So you have to behave, have a kind of initial cyber hygiene, and then you can go on continuing with more dedicated MOOC or whatever. But this definitely could be a good idea. We could do it.
I think it would be. I see a lot of interest and plenty of trainings that maybe if I had known, I mean, I would have had more choice. So I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah, we will definitely have a coordination internally, but also we will reach out with Paula and see what we could do actually to include it maybe also in the Women for Cyber registry. Thank you for the excellent idea, Paula. She wrote it to me in the chat. Yeah, so we will definitely can come up with something on this. And indeed, Nina Olesen is the expert here following on the different education
I could make a
programs.
list, yeah, of all the platforms, but also even by country. For specific countries, there are different things. So yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
indeed,
amazing.
that would be great. And indeed, if you want to do it in your own language, yeah, I remember I followed one in Spanish as well, if I remember correct. You know, I should have noted all these things. I didn't. See, another lesson learned.
Great. We still have a raised hand from another Christina.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
you can hear me. Good afternoon,
Yes.
everyone. Thanks for the nice talks and, of course, inspiring speeches, Lorena. And I fully identify with your story, coming from a background in law and political science and making the switch to cybersecurity. So I did get some reactions from friends, colleagues. Well, it's kind of a big shot, so are you sure you want to go into? And definitely, I think when you decide to make the switch, it's very important to understand in which direction you want to go, because there are plenty of courses, definitely, and platforms based on which you can educate yourself and just make sure you get a good grasp on what is cybersecurity and how actually can benefit business or you as individuals. And you mentioned also that the European Commission is willing to fund or at least making available funds for universities. And speaking from my perspective, so when I did the switch, I was already 3 years after graduation. So I think that is also a gray area where actually it's kind of harder because you need to self-provide kind of those courses for yourself, to pay them, and they have a cost. And if you're not yet, let's say, employed, it's kind of a challenge. So I think having some funds at the European level, which eventually can maybe be allocated to countries, will be definitely beneficial for women, but also guys that would like to get into cybersecurity. Maybe if they are university courses or something like that. So do you think that it's something possible from a EU perspective?
Sorry, you are saying that to have also, so not only to fund
because people that are not students, that are not registered, university.
Okay, it is foreseen as well. So the Digital Europe program covers, so for university classes, masters, and also for training of people that are already working. So this is foreseen. So and the way it will work is that there will be calls, and then we will see per countries. This will go to of course member states, universities, and other type of foundations that are providing trainings. So that's the idea. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great initiative. So happy to hear about that. And if I may ask a last question, please, if you don't mind. For someone maybe that currently working in a private sector and would like to move to public sector, so working in some EU agency or including European Commission, and of course having a background that is not pure engineering or very much technical, but do have experience in cybersecurity, including some certification. How do you see the possibility in getting a job at or actually doing an application at the European Commission or other EU agencies?
Okay, so for the European Commission, and it's the same as whether it's cybersecurity or any other thing. You have different ways. You can be a civil servant, and for that you need to do an open competition. I was going to say which is quite tough, but I don't want to say it, otherwise I discourage people. But let's say it is a long process where you have thousands of people that apply, and then you are selected. Some of them are, let's say, sectorial. You have some that are general. For all type of profiles, and then you have some of them that are more specific and you could have for researchers or for lawyers. The one I passed many years ago was specific for lawyers, for example, whatever the field, but for lawyers. So, and if you get that competition, then you become a civil servant. So that's forever, huh? Let's say, until you retire. And then you have also temporary positions where you have a contract. Those you also need to pass an exam, but it's not as complicated and tough as that one. And if you get is what we call the cast, then you are there for 1 year, and it can be renewed, and the maximum is, I think, 5-6 years, and then that's it, because it's a contractual position. That's it. If you're not a civil servant, that's what you have. So these are the two types, and this is also for ENISA. You can have a temporary contract. There is all these things are published in our agency for recruitment, which is called EPSO, and we can put it also in the chat. Maybe Paula, you can put EPSO. I mean, if someone finds the link, there you have all the publications for the post in the commission, and all the explanation about the different ways to work in a new institution. Voila, thank you, and thank you very much. And so that's where you EPOS. I said EPSO.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification. Yes.
You're welcome. What I don't know, and maybe one colleague can say, it's whether ENISA publishes separately the post. That's something that I'm sure someone is going to reply to me. And as soon as I get the reply, we will put it in the EPSO. Okay, we will put it in the chat. Yes, you can consult their site. Okay, so also ENISA has their own publication. So if you go to ENISA, you can find also their own publications. They publish both. So now that I got the answer, I have 2 chats in parallel with my team. So voila, and there you have the link for ENISA. So if it's specific posts for ENISA, you will find them both in the ENISA website and also in the EPSO website, which is for the whole commission and all the institutions. Voilà. More questions?
Thank you very much, Lorena. I see that Eva is back. Let's see if now we can hear you better. Sorry, you're muted.
Now, am I on?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, sorry for technical problems. Now it's okay?
It is not that good. I think if you turn off your camera and you only speak, that way we could hear you better.
Okay, that's right. Okay. Now, do you hear me?
A little bit better.
Okay, let's try. So, as I told before, thank you, Lorena, for your clear explanation. That has been really, really interesting. I'm living now in Andalusia, in Malaga. I come from here. I have worked in the Commission in the GRTD for several years as a contractual agent, as you was explaining right now. And now I am a DPO. So now I'm working in the privacy and data protection sector, and starting with cybersecurity and so on, but only in the European sector. Okay, so I think, and I fully agree with you, Lorena, that this is a real challenge and a real possibility for working and implementing a career. But the problem, I'm speaking about Andalusia, and it's a real problem, not only in Andalusia, but also in Spain, that the problem is that cybersecurity for us is so far away from our reality on a daily basis, you know. I think it's necessary to energize the sector, for example, through support programs for research, innovation, or by promoting specialized training. For example, this initiative of master classes, I think is fantastic, no? Attract and retain talent. I don't know, we have to create a quality employment and so on, but it's really, really difficult. And I think the European Union in this sense is very far away from the real markets, working markets. How do you think, Lorena, the Commission could approach, or the communities could approach the Commission in order to really have an interaction that could help cybersecurity sector in my country, in my community, to develop how we want and how we can develop?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I would like to believe that that it's not only the Commission that should do it. Let's say that, as you say, proximity is very important. So I would like to believe that at national and regional level, you do have a community as well. I know that in Spain, because I know you mentioned you come from Spain, I know there is a community on cyber. I know because I follow them on LinkedIn, and I know it exists, and it's quite active, by the way. They organize conferences, and it's a community for women as well. So I believe there is. I know that EXO and Luigi is there. Is putting in contact also all the communities at national level, and they are working with the communities and building the communities. We had the other day, it was Monday, Nina, I forget when it was, this panel that I was chairing, and I think you share the link somewhere here in the chat, because we had a colleague from EXO precisely explaining all the communities and how they work. So that's something that can be very useful maybe to go and see. And then, of course, it is true that if you go more to, because you were mentioning research in the field, we have created recently a new animal in all this in this field of cybersecurity, which is the Cybersecurity Competence Center, a network of competence centers. Sorry, my cat wants to participate. Okay, so sorry. And this, okay, definitely, okay. And this is going to channel the money in cyber that goes from research and from deployment. And the idea is to build competencies at EU level and also at national level. So I think that this is going to also help in bringing, at least as you were mentioning, the research and deployment level to the level of to the national level and even regional level. And I see that now Paula was kind enough to put in the chat the Women for Cyber Spain, so that you can maybe connect with that community. I understand that we have this for every member state. We have identified, we have done the mapping there. So I think, oh, okay. Still, okay, we are working on it. It will be there.
We are aiming to have one chapter per member state, but we have yet to get there.
Okay, work in progress, but at least for Spain, I knew it existed because, as you're absolutely right, Eva, that you need to find your community. It's extremely important to be there, to support each other, to identify each other, so that you know who are the others in the field, in particular for women, because they exist, so that we can help each other. And here I'm going to take advantage to make a little bit of publicity to the registry that also, with the support of EXO, exists. Because, you know, a typical excuse that we are having all the time when there are conferences and things like that is, well, we didn't find any woman. We didn't find them. So basically here you have a panel with all male. We have now a registry of women in the field that Paula also put out in the chat. So if any of you watching us today is planning to organize an event, a conference, meeting, and you are told that there were not women, go to this link, the Cybersecurity Atlas, and you will see that that is not true. They are there, and you can identify them, you can contact them. So working in community is something extremely, extremely important. Then you will see, and I say it for experience, you will see, once you are invited to one, suddenly you're invited to all. Once they discover you, it's kind of, wow, I mean, I cannot cope, sorry. I mean, for example, since I took this job on the 1st of December, I remember the first conference, the invitation didn't come to me. It came to one of my male heads of units who was kind enough to say, Lorena, I think this is your level, honestly. And I said, well, okay, they invited you. And then, of course, when they discover, oh, but there's a woman who is the director, then I went there. Since there, I really get invitations. I mean, my assistant that I think is my policy assistant, Flavia, which I think is watching, can tell you. I mean, it's not stop. I mean, it's so many. And I'm trying to go to most of them to show that, you know, there are women as well. But sometimes I just cannot manage, but you will see. It's like that they discover you and you'll get plenty.
I'm sure you do your best, Lorena. And indeed, now that the registry is online and it exists, maybe we should create a slogan or something saying no more excuses.
Yes.
Short and to the point. This is very fascinating. Are there any other questions? Luigi, I remember early on you had a question, so now is the time, now or never. Just kidding, but please
No,
go
yeah,
ahead.
I wanted to give priority to the other participants. No, it's more than a question. It was simply a comment I wanted to make, because I think what Lorena is saying, I really appreciate, is very, let's say, very openness and transparency in that approach, and also this personal touch. I mean, for personal experience, this is really what we want in this masterclass, that the people present what they have lived and what they've seen, not just the politically correct position, which we know very well. Now, there are 2 points I wanted to remind what Lorena said. First of all, I think it's the first time that I hear about the colors, you know, the color of cybersecurity. And I see that you are a very special person because you have a red wall behind you, which is not usual, let me say, in a house to have a red wall. Well, I have a green one behind me, you know. So and my office is also green. So, but that's I mean, we need colors. We need colors to show, and indeed, we have to move from the dark web impression, because there is a dark web indeed, but we have to see that cybersecurity is not only the dark web, is not only the dark side, as we have the white hat, but we have also the black hat. The white hat are the positive guys, and we have to show positive approach. And what you said also, the second point was very important, that cybersecurity is to help the community, is to help the society. And this is exactly, well, I think you are learning this. Well, you have learned already before, but what we are doing in EXO with Women for Cyber, we are really there to help the society. We're not there for lobby or whatever, but we are really trying to help all together the growth of the society, of the people, of the citizens, of the economy as well. And this is really something that we all have in common in doing cybersecurity. And again, you don't need, as you said, you don't need to be a skilled expert. You don't need to do STEM, because, you know, I started, let me say, informatics 40 years ago. punching cards was completely different words. So I'm coming from that part of, but then cybersecurity has evolved. And a few years ago, you could have said that somebody was an expert in cybersecurity. Today, you cannot have an expert in all cybersecurity. It's so detailed, it's so diversified that you can be a generalist maybe in cybersecurity. So you have the possibility to start from very basic level and to grow up progressively and maybe specialize in a topic. But we are just at the beginning of cybersecurity. So don't be afraid, as you said, don't be afraid, go, because there is a place for everybody. It's the time, you have all the time ahead of you. And so boys and girls, go.
Indeed, I think what you said is very important, because the other day I was talking to the head of one of the CSIRT, and he was telling me about this problem of lack of people. So he said, well, we really have a problem. I cannot find people in the field, and when I find them, then they go to the private sector, and he was telling me, and a big problem is that often people give up because they see it as too long term. They say, it's too late for me. Now, I mean, in 5 years, I mean, I need to start a career, and then in 5 years, I will get out of university, and now, blah, blah, blah. And I say, sorry, I mean, I'm 50, and I got into cybersecurity. So it's not too late, among other things, because, as you say, Luigi, this field is evolving so quickly that I'm sure that the people that studied anything close to be called cybersecurity 15 years ago probably can do nothing with that title, which is one of the things that happen in the ICT field, is that it evolves so quickly that I'm sure a computer scientist of 15 years ago, unless this person has been training and forming him or herself constantly since then, cannot survive. Imagine now we live in the data world. I mean, 15 years ago. So I think that it's not too late, because then every day is too late in this field, in cyber and in general in the ICT field. So I think that both for the ICT part of cyber and for the other part, this is such an evolving animal that you're never too late. Never too late.
That's a great message. Thank you, Lorena. As they say, better late than never. So it's never too late. I think there is enough time for one more question. And I also refrained from asking my to other people, but I don't see any other questions. So I'm going forward to ask mine. It's a little bit abstract, but at the same time, it's a bit concrete as well. You mentioned objectives when you were speaking about your daughter and her career choice. Now, you are a director of cybersecurity at the European Commission. So to a young person who is considering cybersecurity right now, either for studies or as a career, what objectives would you say Europe needs to be accomplished? So in terms of cybersecurity, what can we do what objectives can we achieve as young people who will be leading cybersecurity tomorrow to improve Europe?
Wow, that is a very good question. There are so many things where to start. I think one of them I said it, which is the need in Europe to build trust among the different, first among the member states. So for cyber is something that has no barriers, no frontiers. So if we want a cyber secure Europe, member states need to work together. They know it, and we have seen, I mean, since I was dealing with this field at the time of the cabinet, I mean, more than 10 years ago, I mean, there has been huge improvement in how member states cooperate, and a number of different networks are now created to cooperate. But I really believe that there is more to be done in terms of cooperation between member states. And in particular, when we are talking about more the operational side, like if you need to be in action, are we going to be able to act together when something happens? Also in the field of detection, I think that there's a lot that can be done in reinforcing our detection capacities. So I think that this is absolutely necessary. I think it's absolutely necessary also, and we have been saying it, to build the skills, ICT and non-ICT. So build the skills necessary to have a community. Then also, I think awareness. And this is just not only about cyber skills in terms of being a specialist in skills, but also that if you're a young person, you should already basically be born with your cyber mindset. Because, I mean, I don't want to be pessimistic, but cyber attacks are there to stay. And they are only increasing and becoming more complex. So I think that this should be in the DNA of young people. It is not in the DNA of old people like me. It had to be put in, but I think that for the young generations, this should be part of their education. Cyber hygiene should be there. Then, I mean, I could go on and on. I think that international relations is absolutely key to be aware that you cannot have international cooperation or not cooperation without having that angle in your scope, and you cannot have cyber security without taking that angle into account. So it's a two-way traffic. So that's also extremely important. Important as well, Internet of Things. I mean, today we are all working and living with devices that are not only our smart devices, but that are in our houses, and this is going to increase more and more and more. So the importance of cybersecurity will only increase, and it will be in our houses. It will be in our living room. The surface of attack is only going to increase. So I think that this is something that is extremely important, that we make sure that we are aware of that, and that all our products are protected as well. So it's not only about, you know, in your company, in your public institution, you need to be cyber secure. You will need to be cyber secure in every part of your life. So I think I can go on and on and on, but I will leave it there. So if you're, I mean, if you are a young person, I mean, you have a very important role, and probably you as a young person are going to help better than we old people that had to discover this world. So I think it's very important that you see it as it's going to be cybersecurity part of the life of all of us, whether as a user or whether as someone contributing to the community to make sure that we are all protected. So voilà, that's what I would say.
This is great. I actually think in my mind, I've taken many lessons from today's masterclass. First of all, have the passion, follow the passion. Second of all, never let anyone tell you what to do and prevent you from doing what you want to do. Trust is very important, building trust. Awareness is very important. It's never too late to start in cybersecurity, so better late than never as well. And finally, all roads, or rather all disciplines, lead to cybersecurity. So whatever your choice in career, whatever your choice in education, you can always fall back to and like come and fall into this cauldron that is the cybersecurity field, because it's such a multidisciplinary field. Lorena, once again, thank you so much really for your time today, for sharing your experience, your wealth of experience with us. I am sure that our participants have enjoyed this very educational session. You are truly a role model for all of us, even if you want to disagree or not, but we do consider you as such. And I can already see in the comments participants also thanking you. So this is a great thing. To everyone, thank you so much for following this special masterclass in honor of the International Women for Cyber Week that we are continuing. We do, the week is not over yet, so please check us on social media, on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram, and also our website, womenforcyber.eu. We are always promoting our activities, and as I said, our partnership with DigiConnect is far from over. We are continuing the good work, promoting cybersecurity, promoting gender inclusion, and always, always with the help of you, dear community. Thank you to all participants, and this is the end of this special masterclass. Have a great afternoon and great end of the week, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much also to you all. Thank you for listening, for your questions. Let me finish like I finished in the last session we had last year, 1 year ago. I was chairing a panel exactly 1 year ago. It was at the beginning of the pandemic about women in cyber, and I was not myself in cyber. And I got quite inspired. And now I'm very happy to see that 1 year later, I myself part of the community. So you see, one conference can change your life. So I hope I will help some of you to choose your way into this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lorena. And thank you also to Luigi and my colleagues, Nina and Saskia as well, of course. You guys are great.
Thank you, Lorena. Thank you, everyone following.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.